everybody. What we're working on today is we are adding this cross brace from X3M as well as the rear sway bar from F97 to this M40i. So what we need to do is we need to remove this actual rear sway bar. You see the brackets right there, and sway bar links right here. I'm gonna probably keep the sway bar, the factory sway bar links if I can, because the car only got 6,000 miles on it. The goal is to access that. We're gonna probably lower the rear cradle, and you see all that. So it's gonna be 4 bolts. It's gonna be 1 bolt right there. It's gonna be, I'm gonna remove all the shielding, all the plastic stuff from the bottom, and I'm gonna show you where I'm at with this. But yeah, so it's gonna be the other bolt right there, and this can be done in the parking lot on the jacks. I don't see any problem, but it is extremely cold outside, so I asked my guys if they go moto to let me borrow their lift. So I'm gonna start, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna lift the car up, and I will start removing this bottom, all the plastic shields, just get them out of the way, and then we're gonna come up with a game plan. The plastic piece comes off fairly easily. It's gonna be a few bolts here, all 8mm or 5/16, just a bunch right there, here, 10. I'll loosen a few 8s here as well, just to give it some slack. So our goal is to get to this cross brace, and I'm gonna remove this splash shield at this point. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is pretty much what we're gonna work with. So we're gonna remove this cross brace right there. It's gonna be a bunch of external Torx bolts. Gonna remove these cross members out of the way as well. I see a bolt right there. It's gonna be probably a couple of bolts in that area. That lift arm is gonna be in the way. I already see that. And the couple bolts right there, I'm gonna get that out of the way as well. Yes, I'm gonna start there and see, and then after that I'm probably gonna start looking into lowering the exhaust. It's gonna be just a bunch of hangers. Yeah, so yeah, let's get the bracing out of the way, and we'll see what happens next. It's really hard to record and undo the bolts, but you got the idea on this this brace. Okay, as you can see, all the bracing is out of the way. There's some pieces out there, and there's the cross braces right there. Honestly, I just want to comment on this stock piece. I mean, this is tinfoil. This is a real deal right there. So that there is a huge difference. I mean, that's a pretty big deal right there. Okay, so I've never done this before, so I'm gonna come up with a game plan. We will be lowering the exhaust, so I don't want to create any bends in it. So I'm gonna loosen this bolt, just a few threads, because it's obviously gonna be drop. Okay, I also remove these 2 10s right here, just to give the heat shield some slack for the diff to drop. At this point, okay. Yes, what else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna completely remove this. I think it's probably 13mm bolts. I'm gonna wrap this exhaust tips with some microfiber towels, just to make sure we don't scratch anything. I will loosen this. I know it's gonna drop with the cross member, but I'm gonna loosen this just in case, to give it some slack left and right, whichever I need to do. So loosen this, loosen the exhaust mount right there, and I will completely remove the bolts right there. Like I said, I believe there are 13. They look like there are 13s. So the next step would be removing this bracing, which is, I don't know, it's probably maybe 21mm. I don't know what size they are. There's the E-Torx, and there's a bolt right there. So we're gonna remove this We will be transferring this little tiny brackets onto the new pieces. So we're gonna we can remove this at that point. And I'm trying to think what's the best way to go about lowering the cross member, but we will see. Yeah, so the goal is loosen the exhaust, get these brackets completely removed, and maybe start loosening these bolts right here to get this boomerang bracket out of the way. So I'll get to it. Here's a quick update. I got the sway bar links loosened. It takes T27 inside this the stud, as well as the 17mm for the nut. It's fairly easy to undo. I got all these external e-torques loosened a couple turns. All these bolts in the brackets are also completely removed, so it just held. So what we're looking at right now is the subframe is held in by those four main bolts, e-torques. I'm gonna level the car, just get it, you know, get it where I want it to be, so I can reach the sway bar brackets on top. And I'm gonna loosen all the hoses, well, not the hoses, but probably connectors. I start loosening them here. As you see, this active shock, you know, this wire that goes to the active shock, got that loosened. I'm gonna loosen the wires that go into the ABS sensor, as well as I'm gonna look at the brake lines. I don't think I need to loosen those because it should be plenty of slack. I just need to move it down, maybe, my guess would be probably 3 inches. But let me position the car properly, and I will get back with you to show you where it needs to be to continue the removal. So I do understand this is pretty ghetto and sketchy, but this is the plan right now. I got the tranny jack under the diff. I was gonna jack it up under the subframe, but I think this is gonna work. So what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna carefully and slowly loosen those 4 bolts. The goal is I'm gonna remove the front subframe bolts completely. It's these bolts right here, both sides. I'm gonna remove those completely and loosen this as far as they go. I just need to know how long they are to actually be able, you know, hopefully they're gonna give me an inch or 2. We will see. But yes, so now at this point I'm just gonna start loosening it, and I still got 1 bolt connected to the brace. I'm gonna remove that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get it loose. Alrighty, so this is where I'm at right now. I got those bolts completely loosened. The subframe dropped a good bit, I would say probably 1.5 inches or so. The rear portion is still tightened up. I'm gonna give it a few turns. I get enough clearance to loosen these bolts. I just don't think the form and shape of the sway bar is gonna allow me to remove it just yet, but we will see. So I haven't loosened, I haven't lowered the jack yet, so this is the plan next, is very slowly lower the jack and see what this does, how much this drops. I'm keeping those back bolts still in there, still installed. Okay, so the sway bar is loose, and at this point all I gotta do is pretty much come up with some clearance, make clearance to actually be able to work it out from under these control arms. I really don't want to loosen the control arm. I cannot loosen it here because there's I think that's the alignment. Maybe not actually. Anyway, I really don't feel like loosening this control arm. If I have to, I will, but I really don't want to. So I think I'm gonna need maybe 1 inch of clearance, and that should get me in the ballpark. Make sure none of your wires are stretched. Make sure everything is nice and have plenty of slack. But yeah, so give me a few minutes. I'm gonna find a better way to work this sway bar out, and we will. I actually got this end over already, so this is in a good shape right there. I like it already. Okay, so just talking to y'all, already got this end out, so we're gonna see if we can get the other side out. You see the exhaust loosened as well. So here is that sway bar. We're gonna see if we can make this work by some kind of miracle right here. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push it that way on the other side and this way towards the spring to give me enough clearance. Just gotta memorize that as well because, okay, so you see how I got it this way. So we're gonna see if this works out on the other side. Okay. All right. This should, okay, make sure your wire is good. It should give me enough clearance to get it past. Okay, so those lines, I think it's either few lines, kind of vent lines that hit that sway bar bracket. So what I can do is I can keep trying to work it. I think I should be able to get it. I mean, it's literally right on that edge. But the new sway bar is gonna have an issue going in. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna probably lower the jack just a little bit. I literally need a 1/4 inch to make things work easier. So yes, I'm gonna lower the jack, and this hopefully this will work. I had my tranny jack loosened by about 1/2 inch. The main thing is the subframe bolts are still in there, the rear bolts. So this section is pretty loose. So where I'm at right now is I'm pretty much gonna work this sway bar out. The main thing I want to mention is get those caps, a sway bar, you know, the covers from those bushings off. That should give you immediately enough slack to make this work. So we don't want to put a lot of stress on the subframe sitting like this, so we're going to work fast. We're going to get the sway bar out, and the new sway bar is going to slide right in.
Work that body for me, 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 work for me, work for me, work that body for me, work.
Sway bar side by side. The X3M sway bar is about 2.5 to 3 millimeters thicker. I mean, you can tell the difference. It's pretty obvious. So one thing I want to mention, you will need the X3M sway bar links. I will explain why. Because the stud goes through the hole. The factory hole is too skinny. So my sway bar came with the link, so it should be no-brainer for me. I was also gonna mention that it looks like a tricky spot right there, but when you undo this bolt, it will clear the strut. You don't have to. I was kind of hesitant to use it, but you don't have to loosen the strut, do anything with the strut to use these links. So hopefully it's gonna be a direct replacement. So yes, this bolt right there, it clears the strut barely. Okay, so we're gonna clean everything up right here in this area where the sway bar bracket's gonna be mounted, and just wipe the stuff off as much as we can right quick, and we're gonna be going back in with the new sway bar. I'm gonna have somebody probably help me slide the bar in just so we can work it faster, but you can do it by yourself as well. I don't see any issues with this. But yeah, the old sway bar is out. The other one's gonna be coming back in. My main concern is getting this subframe lined up and bolted back up. It shouldn't be an issue. And after that, it's fairly straightforward. I'll keep you posted. I want to mention, just to get this bolt, the sway bar link bolt started, I had a tough time. You see I scratched that decal. So I had a tough time starting the bolt without cross-threading, and I didn't want to mess up. So what I done is I loosened this shock bottom bolt, and then I use a light pry bar action just to pry the shock. You see it's moving a little bit. Yes, and that's all you need. You literally need like a couple millimeter clearance. So very light pry, and this bolt, just start with your fingers and it's gonna drop right in. Okay, so I'm gonna tighten this in, tighten the sway bar link bolt. Other side for some reason has more clearance for the sway bar link, and I'm gonna go in with a new bar. Sway bar slides in fairly, the new bar, the thicker bar slides in very easily. But now I gotta work it under those control arms, and at that point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on the other side and just gonna see how I can work it in. It's just gonna take a couple of minutes. I don't think that's gonna be an issue, but we're about to find out. I'm gonna let you know what's the best way to get it in, but give me a few minutes. I'm gonna try to work it a little bit. Okay, just from the get-go, just pay attention to where the wire is supposed to be. The wire is gonna be on the outside of the sway bar. Just make sure you don't grab them. And once you slide the bar, I just start, sliding the bar in from the passenger side. Just kind of should give you enough clearance between there and here to get it automatically, there you go, under the control arm. I'm just gonna see where we at with this here. It's gonna be, I gotta go back on the other side and just kind of move it up, but we just gotta work it under the control arm, and at this point we're gonna be ready to bolt it back. A pretty big change of plans, and this is very important for those who's gonna do this job. I hope this helps. Of course, I don't know what I'm doing, just I'm gonna give some pointers. So those lines, they're probably vent lines, like this plastic stuff right there. It's hitting the sway bar brackets. So what I did is I started completely on the installation of the sway bar. You got to come in from the driver's side and slide this end onto the control arm first, because on the other side I should have enough slack to work this on the look. It just went right in. I mean, this is yeah, that's it. Bam. Okay, so it's in now. Okay, cool, this is it. Yes, and removing the sway bar, you also got to start it from from the other side and get the other side of the sway bar under the arm, and then get it out. So I have the subframe loosened a good bit here. So now that the sway bar is in, I'm just gonna tighten those bolts. I'm gonna get them good and tight. I'm gonna use blue Loctite on those. They were extremely loose, so I'm gonna get them fairly tight. I don't know the torque specs on them. I'm gonna look them up and try to mention it in the description. But the sway bar is in, and this point it just gotta just gonna start putting things together. But definitely remove the sway bar from the driver's side and install it starting from the driver's side. Work this side from the control arm out, first on the removal, and on the installation install the passenger side first, because of those the wiring plastic bracketry stuff right there. That's the one's going to be in the way. Everything else is going to be super easy once you get this in position. Get down, 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 get down. Okay, so I got everything. I got a jack from under the car. At this point, we just need to confirm all the wires to all the sensors and all the brake hoses and all the lines. Everything clears the subframe. Make sure there's nothing pinched anywhere. Yes, the sway bar went in like a glove, like my friend says, like socks on a rooster. So everything is in there, which is gonna connect all the lines. I mean all the this sensors and back in their respectful places. And at this point, I'm just gonna make sure everything clears. There's nothing gets pinched, nothing gets caught, and I will run an impact on these bolts just to get this subframe in position, and then I'm gonna torque it. I just need to confirm the torque spec on this way on the subframe, and then I'm gonna get the car higher in the air, because I'm pretty much, once all these wires like this right here gonna go back in their position, in their place, I mean, I'm pretty much done on the sides all the way until I need to put the wheels back on. So let me get all these wires back hooked back up, and I will pull up the torque specs on the subframe. And these are X3M brackets. They have a provision for this X3M brace that's gonna hook up right there in the middle in place of the factory pitiful pathetic brace. So why I'm doing the sway bar and everything all at the same time is because this cross brace, it will require loosening this subframe here. So I was like, man, might as well get it all done at the same time. So yeah, so gonna get the wires back in, get the car jacked up, and I will get back to you once I pull up with the torque specs on that subframe. On update right quick, all the exhaust bolts are tight. There's 13s there on both sides, 13s on the subframe. Everything is tight, everything is out the way. I started installing this X3M cross brace here. I am using factory bolts. Ideally you would want to use X3M bolts. I might change that eventually. I know some guys will cut this heat shield, but I'm gonna keep it as is. I'm gonna mount the plastic shield over it and just bolt to the brace. I think it's gonna be just fine. If not, I'll let you know. Now I am going to start tightening these bolts. So there's gonna be 100 newton meters and a 90-degree turn on top, which I'm gonna do 100 and probably 45 because it's a stretch bolt, and I'm gonna do 145. But ideally you would want to replace those bolts. They seem to be torque to yield stretch bolts, and these also gonna be 100 newton meters on each of these bracket bolts. So I'm gonna get them torqued up, and I'll be back once everything's tight. Okay, so I got the X3M brace installed. So these were 38 newton meters. This will be the factory call for the M40 is 25. X3M is 35, so I'm going to tighten those to 30 newton meters, but I definitely recommend replacing these bolts to X3M bolts. It's going to be much less headache. Do not forget to install these little brace pieces to put it all together. Okay, so this is in. All these brackets are tightened. Everything is torqued to spec. What else we got? So I am going to install this the brace piece that goes to the back of this brace mount, I guess. I'm gonna get those tightened up as well. And at this point we are pretty close to being done with this vehicle. We got a couple shielding. I'm gonna install this plastic shielding here. I had it removed because there's those pieces right there. I had it removed just to get them out of the way, as they're pretty bulky. So I'm gonna keep on putting it together, but at this point it's very it should be fairly simple. Button up the install. All the plastic shields are on. As you see, the sway bar fits perfectly. It clears everything as if it was made for an M40. Everything is in place. I'm gonna throw the wheels back on. I have to move this arm out the way to tighten one of those structural bolts. Otherwise, that's all it is to it. I'm gonna have a car in the air one more time in just a minute and show you overall how everything goes in, and not too bad. All in all, I would say it's probably a 3.5 hour job if you own it. If you're doing it in the driveway on the jacks, I would say it's probably going to take another hour, hour and a half probably, and a little more stress. But lift definitely helps. Lifting a jack, that's all it is to it. Okay.